Apple closing down by more than 1% yesterday after the street was disappointed by some of the announcements, or maybe lack of announcements, at its Worldwide Developers Conference. Steve Kovach joins us right now with more on this. And Steve, we knew the list was not going to be extremely broad or extremely advanced.
Yeah, Becky, that's exactly right. Expectations were already low going into yesterday. And Apple, I guess they didn't disappoint on that front. They were low for a reason, by the way. After last year's debut of Apple Intelligence at this very same conference, Apple failed to live up to its promises, most notably delaying that big artificial intelligence update to Siri. So Apple played it safe this year, sticking to software updates it can deliver on time. That means less AI and more of the general updates to the operating systems for iPhone, iPad, Mac, and all the other platforms out there. Analysts have been reacting this morning. It's not pretty. UBS saying more evolutionary than revolutionary. Wells Fargo, we think investors will still need to hear and see more, and so on. You get the idea. Biggest news had nothing to do with AI. A new design scheme, they're calling it Liquid Glass, which is based on the software design you see in the Vision Pro. Now, all of Apple's operating systems will have that similar look when you upgrade your software later this year. On the artificial intelligence front, some minor features. They didn't totally ignore it. That includes live translation, which automatically translates text messages, phone calls, and FaceTime video calls to your preferred language. Apple also expanded its partnership with OpenAI for visual intelligence. That means you can now read the content on your screen when you take a screenshot, and then you use that for a web search. We've seen that before from other device makers as well. And developers, they are now able to tap into the Apple Intelligence system using Apple's language models that run on the phone, though we'll have to see if they choose Apple's technology over the tools they're already using from OpenAI and so many others. Now, Apple barely acknowledged Siri during the keynote, only saying it still needs more time to work on that big AI update, and teased more announcements on that coming soon. So now we got WWDC behind us. We look to what Apple can do at hardware. It's bread and butter, of course. We're expecting the next family of iPhones to launch this fall. Maybe that can drum up some excitement, but Apple is signaling it's holding off on major artificial intelligence advances this year. But guys, its competitors, they're not going to be slowing down.
Yeah, Steve, I always wonder what's the right move for Apple in the AI wars. I mean, you hear the story of Zuckerberg with Meta basically saying he's going to race to this first, moving desks out to get to the artificial general intelligence. I don't know if it's an arms race that Apple wants to or needs to be in, as much as the street seems to have changed its perspective on it.
Yeah, that's right. And Zuckerberg today, Becky, out with the big announcement that they're starting this new group within Meta to build what they call a super intelligence. They kind of did that acqui-hire trick where they invest in a company called Scale AI, but they actually just bring the whole team over to work on their own stuff. But you're right. Now the idea has kind of shifted to maybe Apple, until it can figure this AI thing out, it could be the best platform for these developers to work on. But developers yesterday, honestly, Becky, they didn't get a ton of that. Yes, they can use those Apple AI models, but Apple, at least in the keynote yesterday, didn't really make a compelling case why they should choose to use Apple's AI system to make their apps over something else. And yes, the conference continues this week. Those developers are going to be in classes and sessions and asking Apple all the questions, but we'll see if they kind of glom on to this new tools that they're getting from Apple for AI to use in their apps. But right now, it just, all of the gas is kind of out of the AI stuff over at Apple, and whether or not they can even be the platform for this AI stuff, we'll have to see how the rest of the conference goes.